Thanks for joining us today for BRMC's Healthy Connections. And we're going to be talking about the First Step program that's over at the hospital. Lori, welcome. I'm so glad you could join us.
Thank you.
Tell us give us an update. First of all, for those viewers that don't know anything about our First Step program, would you explain what that is and who that helps?
Well, first of all, First Step is a service for those who have become dependent on pain medication and alcohol.
So that's a spectrum of ages right there. Of
from
course.
18 years of age to however old, an adult age.
Sure.
Our oldest patient has been 84.
Oh my.
So we do take a wide variety of age ranges. And we take anyone, who is an adult who does suffer from the addiction, who's going to go through physical symptoms from whether it's alcohol or pain medications that they're going to withdraw from.
Okay, so they come into, now, I believe Dr. Godfrey?
Dr. Godfrey is our medical director. Dr. Schmidt, Dr. Stephen Wilbur, and Daniel Goodwin also work with this service as well.
Okay.
So they are the internal medicine doctors for Baxter, but they see our patients.
Okay, so they do. So what would the process be then? Someone would get a hold of you at the hospital, and how is the intake done? What criteria are you looking for?
It is very painless, easy. They can either consult their physician and let them know what their plans are, which we highly recommend. If a patient has,
your physician.
At least tell them, this is what I want to do. At least, inform your physician, I want to do this, and then the patient, make that next phone call. But a physician can refer a patient, or the patient can pick up the phone.
Either way. So it can be a self-referral.
It can be.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Because you really are looking for people, because as I understand it, then this is about a 3-day process on average?
Typically 3 nights.
Okay.
But this is a service for those people who are seeking help.
Okay.
No one's going to make them. We're not going to tie anyone down. It's not court ordered.
This isn't an intervention where the family rounds somebody up and throws them in the hospital and says, "Okay, now fix them."
No, they are, when they walk into our facility, they are willing to go through this and make this huge change,
commitment to
in their life
and to those family members and loved ones around them. So
yes.
I know that when you talk about prescription medications, this type of thing, and becoming reliant upon them. I mean, this is very common.
It's worldwide.
Yeah.
It's going on, and you can read the newspaper articles. Probably almost every day there is either someone losing their job because they become, addicted, or it's just all over.
Right.
How much pain medications have just taken over people's lives.
It's amazing.
It is.
It's amazing. And that's all we hear about in the news oftentimes, are what's going on within the drug community.
Right, and medications are supposed to heal us.
Yeah,
but it's kind of taken a negative.
Well, and it does, but sometimes it just goes
negative
too far.
effect on it,
so,
yes.
Yeah. Now, First Step has been at the hospital how long now?
We have been at Baxter for 4 years.
Okay.
And we are seeing more and more people from the Oklahoma City area.
Really? Yeah. So there's no borders at all.
We will take anyone if they want to come from New York. They are more than welcome to come to the facility. Yeah. But we are seeing more and more people from Oklahoma, and I think because Arkansas, we're right there, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, right there on that line, and we're also taking Oklahoma Medicaid.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Sooner Care. So that's why we were able to accommodate those individuals.
And I think there's still, would you agree with this statement, if there's still such a stigmatism attached to anyone that has a drug or alcohol problem, as though it's their fault, versus being something that their body has taken over.
Right.
That sometimes the folks like to come from.
They don't want to stay locally.
Yeah.
And we are such a specialized service. There's not a medical stabilization in every hospital, in every city, in every state. So we are a specialized service. There's not many of us out there.
Yeah.
So you do sometimes have to make that drive.
And I would think employers, too, that want to help good employees that they don't want to lose, that they want to help them get through this. It's somewhat easier to just say, I'm going to be off for a few days.
Well, and we have actually had some referrals this past month with the EAP, the Employee Assistance Program, from other companies. They have us now plugged in for when an employee asks for help. They do have us plugged in, so they can just send them to us, and then they go to treatment after. Okay. So we are working with other companies.
Now, when the patient comes to the hospital and they've gone through their intake process, are they put on a special unit, a special floor?
They are not. They are on a medical floor. So there's no big screaming red lights.
That says
they can even request privacy without their name outside their door, but they are on a medical floor with all other very, very sick patients.
And the whole idea of this then is to use medications
to medically manage their stay, to treat their symptoms.
Right. So that they're not going through withdrawals, kind of a cold turkey withdrawals.
Right, and that's a lot of fear. The individuals, they don't want to go through the pain, and there's such a risk. Seizures, high blood pressure.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Sure.
So they're going to medically manage them. They're going to give them medications, monitor their blood pressure, monitor their, their vitals, and make sure that they're safe.
Make sure that they're safe going through this as they go through the withdrawals. Yeah, I don't think anyone probably has any idea, myself included on this, what someone truly goes through symptom-wise if they're going through withdrawals.
It's pretty scary to see someone actually going through true withdrawals.
Sweats, shakes.
It's almost, some people even almost have convulsions. They're shaking so much and they can't control it. And I know that has to be a horrible, horrible feeling. I've been sick with such a high fever. I just shake. And so I can't even imagine
what they're going
through.
Sure.
Because they have pain also with these symptoms.
Is there anything done then, well, I was going to say, what can be done? And this may not be something that either one of us clinically can address, but it just raised the question of, once you have someone off of the painkiller, off of the prescription drug that they've become addicted to, but they've still got the pain, then what?
Well, of course, I'm not a nurse, nor will I ever pretend to be one, but they can speak with their physician, because there are non-narcotic pain medications that a person can take. And some people just need ibuprofen.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that, because they've been taking this pain medication for so long that they do have pain, but it's not because of their original injury.
Right.
But there are people who do have chronic pain.
Kind of a phantom pain.
Right.
Almost. Yeah.
But people with chronic pain, they can talk to their physician and see what the other alternatives are for treating that.
Now, after the 3 days, what happens then to some of the patients that have been addicted for so many years?
We always recommend treatment. Some people, because of their lifestyle, because they are the number one supporter of the house. But we always recommend treatment. If they aren't able to go to treatment, then let's set up some counseling. Let's get family counseling. Let's get individual counseling. Here are some NA, some AA meetings. Just to try to keep this individual on the right track, because there are psychological dealings that the person is going to have to deal with even after going through the physical withdrawal.
Change the behavior, exactly. And you were talking about a couple of things, and I always like to never assume on here that the AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and NA, Narcotics Anonymous.
And there's also another group called Celebrate Recovery, which I've heard fantastic things about. And you're not just celebrating being alcohol-free, you could be celebrating hoarder-free, or eaters, anonymous. You celebrate many things that you've overcome in your life. And I know that there's a man, won't mention any names yet because it's not completely set up, but he's actually working on getting that set up in Mountain Home.
Really? Really?
And I know there's a Celebrate Recovery in Harrison that I've heard it's good.
Okay, Celebrate Recovery.
And it's through the church system.
What a great idea.
I think so, too.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on in Mountain Home than I think
a lot of people even realize.
Yeah, and behind closed doors, nobody knows what's going on sometimes, and it can really, it just hurts everyone. It hurts the family, it hurts the individual.
Well, and Al-Anon is out there for the family members, so they can understand. Because a lot of family members don't understand why that person just can't stop.
Right.
And so this helps the family deal with it and understand more.
Don't have to accept it.
Don't have to accept it.
But absolutely understand it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we do give that phone number out to the family members.
Good. What number would someone call to reach you?
870-508-7590 is our direct number.
7590.
Or
Okay.
just call the hospital at 508-1000.
And ask to be transferred up to the First Step program. Yes. So, I brought the paper today too. Sharon Miller is our coordinator, house coordinator for the Schliemann Center for Women's Health Education, and she wrote a beautiful article in this Tuesday's edition about abuse and what a strong hold it can have over someone. And you'd mentioned this gentleman before, Dr. Lincoln Godfrey. He's the First Step Medical Director, as you mentioned, and he's going to share information about the program, First Step, and
April 17th, next Tuesday.
April 17th, next Tuesday, at the Schliemann Center. Boy, Schliemann Center for Women's Health Education. We'll get that out there. This is a lunch and learn, so it's going to be, it's $7, which is for your lunch. If you don't want to have lunch and you just want to come, then the program is free for you. But that would be very, very interesting.
And I think they've asked for people to call in advance.
They always like to get people pre-registered, and that number is 508-2345 for the Schliemann Center for Women's Health Education. They are the lunch and learns that they have at the 4 community houses
are always great.
They are just great. They are a wealth of information. So we'll mention that again right after the break. We'll be back in just a second. We need to take a break, and we'll tell you more about First Step and what's going on here in Mountain Home. Thank you.